Hi, good evening. This is Tamara Carroll with Life with Lipedema, Love, Valued, and Treasured. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Please drop in the comments where you're coming in from and tell me the weather. We were just talking behind the scenes here about what's the weather like where you are. So, is it snowing? Is it cold? I'm in North Carolina and it's a little nippy, but we don't have any snow. We're in Eastern North Carolina. So thank you for joining tonight. I am super excited about my guest that's coming and joining with us here in just a little bit. And I'm going to read a inspiration that I always like to start my show with some kind of inspiration. And this one really reminds me of my guest. And so I know it's already been advertised, but let's see if you could guess who it would be. And please comment as we're going through the show. If you have any questions, be sure and put that in, and we will touch on those for sure. So probably after we have her presentation. So it is called Be. And like I said, this reminds me so much of my guest tonight. Be brilliant, be funny, be adventurous, be exciting, be warm, be inviting. She really is. Be willing, be brave. She's very brave. Be bold, be inspiring. That's definitely her. Be remarkable, but behave. Be nice, be giving, be sensitive, be caring. Be proud, be honorable, be open, be sharing. And you're really going to enjoy her sharing tonight. Be smart, be curious, be trustworthy, be cool, be wise, be ambitious, and nobody's fool. Be calm, be determined, be eloquent, be measured, be knowledgeable, be humble, be gracious, be pleasured, be marvelous, be accepting, she is, be empathetic, be true. So, if you haven't guessed, my guest tonight is Lisa Duerre. Hi, Lisa. I don't know if you had a chance to hear my little inspiration in the back or not.
Oh, Tamara, I want to say right back at you. I was like, are you reading a poem about yourself? That was, there's so much of the B statements you just did that I echo right
Aw.
back to you. And I'm so honored to be introduced that way. Thank you.
Well, I think of you in those ways, so many ways. And you've always been so honoring. And I think giving space to people, and you truly are all of those things. So I'm going to scan that just so that you have it and send it to you.
Thank you. I
So
would love that.
let me read Lisa's bio. She is a CEO and of RLD Group, Managing Director of Lipedema Simplified and Lipedema Project, a professional dynamo. Lisa Duerre has defied all odds by excelling in her career while navigating the complexities of lipedema. Her story resonates deeply with countless women, exemplifying the strength and resilience that lies within. Lisa and Randy are parents to their 13-year-old daughter, Emily, who just started in the ninth grade. Would that be ninth grade?
Seventh grade. Yeah.
Seventh grade. I
Although
was
she
trying
probably
to
wished it
figure
was ninth already.
Wow. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining. We really appreciate you being here. Lisa, can you share about 5 minutes? I know your story is really big, but if you could just share about 5 minutes or so about how you discovered that you had lipedema.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. And I will, I think I'll just start and say that when I talk about this a lot now, I talk about decades of unknowing, decades of unknowing. So I was someone who, at the ripe old age of 53, finally figured out what was going on in my body, amongst other things, was lipedema.
Mhm.
And the reason I was able to figure that out was I was losing my mobility so much that I canceled a family vacation that our family was very much looking forward to going. It was an extended family, and my stepmom at the time was just kind of like, that is not like Lisa. She would never not go on one of these trips. And I just told her, I said, I can't walk. It's too painful. I don't know. I'm too anxious. It's not going to be a good visit. It's not going to be a good time. and I want this to be, vacations are meant to be enjoyed.
Mhm, mhm.
And so she, in her loving way, she's been my stepmom since I was 7, so I've known her my whole life. In her loving ways, went off and started internet searching what could be wrong with me. And she was describing like swollen legs, loss of mobility. And she ran across an article that described lipedema and didn't want to hurt my feelings or tell me I had something, but also could not tell me. So my dad called and he said, "Hey, Stella'd like to talk to you. I want you to be open." And I was like, "Well, what's this all about?" When the father calls and says you need to be open to the stepmom, you're kind of like, "Oh." And so I did, and I was. And she said, I just see you in so much pain, and I see your body changing so much. I really want to bring this to you, but I don't want you to get your feelings hurt that I think you have this. She was
Mhm.
very kind. And
Mm.
so I said, okay. And I didn't let her talk too much. I just took the article and read it, and I just started crying and weeping like, "Oh, those are my legs. Those are my arms. Those are my symptoms. This is a thing." And I called her back probably about an hour later, and I said, "Okay, I think you're right, and I'll keep you posted." And Tamara, much like you, I know your story. That was it. I was on the internet looking, what is lipedema? What is it? I found the disease they call fat, watched it, sobbed. And to be
Mhm.
honest, I was really scared because I had lost so much of my mobility, and I was seeing what could happen if I don't take care of this. And that's air quotes, take care, because we all have our own journey, right? But do something
Mhm.
about it.
Mhm.
And at RLD Group, we do a lot of assessments to help leaders be their best selves. So we do Clifton Strengths and we do Colby. And Clifton Strengths is all about playing to your natural strengths, and
Right.
Colby is all about your innate mode of operation. So whenever there's risk, they define my attitude and my innate MO as quick start. So what that looks like for me is I wouldn't stop researching, much like most of us, right? I was like, it became my one focus on everything I could do. And all I kept thinking was, I got to have surgery. How fast do I get surgery? I got to have surgery.
Mm.
And I just started going down the path of surgery to realize then that I needed to prepare my body for surgery and not just jump into it because I was stage 3. Well, I still am. I say past tense. I still am stage 3. I
Mhm.
still have
Same.
yet to have surgery. And it's in my arms. You can see it in my arms, right? It's in my legs. I have a butt shelf. I have it in my abdomen. If you look at the picture of all the types you have, I have it everywhere. And our bodies are complex, and there's a lot it took to get here. And so I decided to um, basically learn from and with Lipedema Simplified and Lipedema Project, and started volunteering and speaking. And we just turned into 3 years into this. Here we are. And um, I think the thing that I'd like to presence with the bee poem that you gave,
Mhm.
I would also say be kind to yourself.
Mm.
Be gracious with your thoughts, be loving to your body, which I know for me is still hard. But if I could add anything and lipedemify that poem, it would be that, because everything you see on the internet and everything you've already lived with, there's a lot of shame, blame, and uncertainty, anger at the medical system, your
Mhm.
family not even realizing it's a thing, and you're trying to convince people you have something that's not just an internet made up thing.
Right.
And there's been a lot of traction, but that's how I found out. I am forever grateful to my stepmom, Stella. And I
Yeah.
love being able to tell that story because it is such a story of her seeing something I couldn't, because it was so in my face. I couldn't even
Mhm.
understand that something was going on, but she took the time and made the effort. And I am forever grateful.
Right. That's beautiful. And you had mentioned to me before something about pregnancy. You were going to bring something up about that because sometimes it's
Yeah.
overlooked.
Yeah. Well, so for me, I mean, I've had lipedema like many women since before puberty. I can see it in pictures now. So the
Right.
gift I gave
Same.
myself, yeah, when I was going to go do the surgery route early on, I was like, okay, I've been in insurance. I know how this works. I need photos. So I went through all of my photos and tried to find as many as I could of legs and arms to kind of show my progression. And well, like many of us, I'm really good at cropping photos or getting
Mhm.
behind people or
Mhm.
hiding, right? And so it was really hard to find pictures of the earlier versions of me.
Mhm.
But I did. And what I started to realize was I flared. So puberty, yes, it flared, right?
Mhm.
Pregnancy for me, pregnancy was when it went nuts for me. And I had 6 years of infertility. I did multiple rounds of IVF. My daughter is 13. We know where it ended up. But that process, when I was in the hospital giving birth, I
Mm.
had a C-section. And I ended up staying in the hospital because they put me on stroke risk because I was so swollen and my blood pressure spiked so much. They didn't know what was wrong. And here I am, a brand new mom, afraid I'm going to die in the hospital. All I've ever wanted was to have this child. And I wasn't paying attention to leg swelling or pain. I was just trying to figure out how to keep her alive and me alive. I
Right.
look at the photos, Tamara, and it's very evident. The flare at my delivery was huge. And then when menopause hit, is where I was unable to walk like I needed to. And that was this, I would say my third flare, if you will. But in between all that, after pregnancy, before menopause, I had lost 85 pounds and I was thinking, I got it all figured out.
Mhm.
This is awesome, right? And here comes menopause and my body, 100 pounds in less than a year.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
unable to walk and pain on an epic level, concrete arms and legs, blow drying my hair hurt. I mean, it
Yeah.
was just crazy how fast it happens and how you don't
Yeah.
even know it when you're in it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think so many of us can relate to that too. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
So, when you got involved with Lipedema Simplified, how did that happen? Can you just share that just for a minute or two?
Yeah, yeah. So I think I mentioned I watched the documentary multiple times and had my
Mhm.
family watch it. And in my consulting firm, RLD Group, we do a lot of facilitation. So we design events, we facilitate team building offsites, we do workshops,
Mhm.
and I'm in a mastermind group of facilitators. And I was in there's a WhatsApp channel we have, much like we do with our heart to heart and our heart guides.
Mhm.
I was a heart guide, another label in this other group, and I saw Catherine's picture. Dr. Catherine Seo's picture in the WhatsApp group. And I thought, what in the world is she doing in here?
Mhm.
What? So I called one of the gals there that was one of our liaisons and I said, could you make an introduction? Because I think this woman's going to save my life. Like she did a documentary because the community I'm in is called Exchange. And I was very honest about what was going on because I wasn't traveling.
Mhm.
Anyway, I got connected to Catherine and she reached out right back right away. And I just said, "How can I help? Like what you've done, I think you saved my life. Like what can I do to help?" And much like Catherine always does, she's like, you have a chronic illness and you're just learning about it. It's going to take some time. So the best thing you can do is take care of yourself. And I listened, but I didn't because once I knew I couldn't not talk about it. So I bring it up on my podcast. I
Mhm.
bring it up in all of my consulting engagements. We talk about anti-fat bias and what it's like to design an event, an experience, a workplace for all bodies.
Mhm.
And I sent her the first podcast I did, and I said, "Hey, just so you know." And then she called me. She's like, "I'm not going to stop you." I'm like, "No, no, we're not stopping." So Catherine created the space for me to join and become a part of this amazing organization that is so community centered and so giving with research, information, and expertise. I just, yeah, I was like a magnet. I just, you see those cartoons where they have a big magnet and somebody has metal on it, whoop, like that was it. That was it. And I've been here doing this for a little over 2.5 years now.
Oh, awesome. Good
Yeah.
job. Thank you.
Thank you.
So when I think about your story, I think about you being brave. And I get a little choked up because it's hard when we have a self-image, right? And then to be able to be brave, to show up in the world, to be brave, to be exactly as we are in the world. Of course, always, doing all the things we need to do to improve our health, um, and the way we feel about ourselves. Absolutely. But you shared a story not too long ago about wearing a dress to an event. And I'd like to know if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about what it took for you to show up in that beautiful dress, and and just share a little bit about what it took for you from the inside out, and then how it made you feel. And I think your words were it was a transformational moment for you.
Yeah.
So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. Why don't I share and then maybe I can show the photo after so people get a sense of it, but I'll tell a little bit about it. So, I have hidden my body my whole life, and I have gained and lost hundreds of pounds. Right, I don't even track it anymore. I've been medically supervised weight loss. I've done Weight Watchers. I've
Mhm.
done grapefruit diets.
Oh,
I've
your story
certainly
sounds like my story.
certainly not eaten anything just because I thought, what the heck am I going to eat, right? I mean, there's
Yeah,
all of this.
yeah.
And I always looked different than my family members, and I always had tree trunk like legs and a tiny little waist, and my upper arms have always been larger, and I've been teased about it my whole life.
Mm,
It's affected my dating life. It's affected my confidence on stage as a public speaker. I know it's affected my career when it comes to me even wanting to go for certain jobs. It certainly affected my self esteem when I was even traveling, and there was all these events that were like at the beach or wear shorts because it's hot. Because I traveled around the world for work,
mhm,
and there's so much anxiety and like trying to find the right outfit and trying to just feel like you fit in.
mhm,
When I mean, whoever fit, did we really anybody fit in? But it shaped a lot of how I showed up in the world. And so when the pregnancy flare hit, I did an 82-week medically supervised weight loss program, and like I said, I thought, okay, I figured it out. I'm looking thinner. My legs still are thick, but I can wear wide leg pantsuits and wear my blazers and do my thing. And I'm a CEO of a consulting firm. I need to act the part, right? Look
mhm.
the part. And when menopause hit, it was in the middle of COVID, and that's when my flare happened. And so we were on Zoom, and I just found myself, I'll do a little joke here, but every time I was working with anyone, I was like, how can I be like right here? I'm going to be
Uh,
right here. No one's going to notice my body's changed. Put my
uh,
face forward. I know how to put contour on.
yeah.
And I hit a lot, Tamara, to the point where I felt like I was not being authentic. And I really felt that I wasn't bringing my full self because I was hiding.
Mhm,
So when I started working with Lipedema Simplified and Lipedema Project and being in this community and so many women having bodies that look like mine and stories that sound like mine and worries that sound like mine, I started to relax into it and realize, oh, it's like I found my tribe. That's the phrase we use, right? We have a tribe, it's
mhm,
a community.
mhm,
And when I got the opportunity to travel to Potsdam, Germany, to represent Lipedema Project at the World Congress on Lipedema, they had a gala. And we were talking, should I go to the gala? I'm there representing the org. And the first thought was, what am I going to wear? That was my first thought. And I'm like,
mhm,
oh man.
mhm,
But I was in with a group of lipedema community members of our
mhm,
tribe, and they were cheering me on, saying, "You can do it. Go find that dress. We got you." Right. So I
mhm,
went. It was there was enough holiday dresses out when this happened that I could go and find like a formal dress.
mhm,
And I went with my daughter, and I didn't want to go, and it hurt to walk. And I knew I wanted to do this, but she went with me, and we picked some dresses out together, went in the dressing room, and I picked one out that had no sleeves, and it wasn't all the way down to my ankles, where normally, Tamara, I was always looking for the shrugs or like the wraps or like what I'm
mhm,
sure I've looked
mhm,
56 when I was 20 because I was trying
mhm.
to hide all the time. Becky, I see you. I feel like I never fit in. I see you. I feel you. You fit here, Becky. I can tell you that.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, so anyway, my daughter sees me in this dress and she's like, Mom, that's the dress. And I turn around and I look in the mirror and I was like, it has no arms and you can see my legs. What are
mhm.
you talking about? Like, why would I do this? And she looks at me and she's like, You're going to a lipedema conference, Mom. They know what lipedema is.
I love it.
And I thought to myself, she's totally right, Tamra. If there's
Yeah.
any time in my life that I can wear a beautiful dress like this with less shame, because I still have shame, but
Mhm,
less shame, where I'm not going to get stared at as much because people get it, then this is the time. So I took a picture of it, sent it to Catherine and Gail and a couple of others and said, What do you think? And they were like,
mhm.
That's it. So I bought the dress. It was on sale. It was like $26. I could not believe it was like a $200 dress.
Wow.
I was so excited.
Yeah.
So I took it to Potsdam, still with a backup outfit. And when I was in Potsdam, I was surrounded by lipedema patients and surgeons and researchers, and we all walk the same. We have the same kind of gait. We're sitting the same, right? We're kind of looking for the nearest chair, and this is real. And I've never felt more that I fit in, like what Becky's talking about. Like when you feel like you fit, oh my
Mhm,
gosh. So
mhm,
I told a couple of the friends I made, I'm going to wear this dress. And they're like, You do it. Well, so I wore my compression. I had to wear my Velcro shoes for my feet to fit. Put on the jewelry, did the hair, went down by myself, walked into that room and thought, here we go. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, you look beautiful. I love your dress. And no one stared at me like I didn't look okay. No one looked at me like, why, you shouldn't be eating dinner. People looked at me with beauty and love. And yes, Pam, I definitely
Mhm.
felt like people are talking to my legs instead of me and my arms. But that did not happen in Potsdam. I was embraced by the
Mhm.
community
Mhm.
and I danced. I only danced like 3 minutes, like a 3 minute song, and I'd sit back down. But there was so much joy in my heart and so much lightness that I've decided to not hide anymore. Like that was the moment that was transformational. That I'm going to show these arms. I'm going to
Mhm.
show my legs. I'm going to talk about what this is because this will help us and the future generations.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, that's what happened. And I can't wait to wear that dress again. I don't know where to go. I never go
Mhm.
anywhere fancy, but maybe we need an excuse. But
Yeah.
I'm happy to
Yeah.
show you the dress and talk about it some more. It was just, I think for all of us, even with a prom or a wedding, I mean, my wedding dress, I took my veil, I made sure it was long to hide my arms. Like we have spent our lives hiding. And
Mhm.
this dress was me saying to the world, I am worthy just as I am to wear a pretty dress and be present and not have it be about my clothing.
Mhm. Can you show us the dress
Yeah,
with you?
let me bring it up for you guys. Let's see. We need a drum roll, right?
Yes.
Uh,
There. Beautiful. It is so
okay.
pretty.
So
So
yeah, I even bought little gold adornments to put on my shoes to make them prettier. But my arms were out. It had pockets too, Tamara. It
oh,
had
pockets
pockets,
are great.
right? Look at the logo. And I mean, I just was like, that's me. Like I look like that. And so that's what I wore. And the other thing I have up here is I had also taken pictures and shared them with Lipedema Simplified. And this was a meme that went out. And I never in a million years would thought I would be a leg model. In a million years, Tamara, you could have said I would be president of the United States before I'd be a leg model. Do you know what I mean? And here I am modeling my legs.
Aw, I
So
love
thank you
that.
for that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Um, I want to make sure that we are on time for you. So I'm going to skip my other question, but I always like to ask, looking at the words loved, valued, and treasured, which one word resonates with you tonight the most, Lisa?
As far as just what I desire or what I want to embody, or
Whichever one you feel like resonates with you and why.
I think loved is the one that I want to highlight if I get to pick one,
Mm-hmm.
because I have never loved my body, but putting that dress on was an act of love. It
Mm-hmm.
was saying to my body and my soul and my heart and my fears, you are loved, you are worthy, you're going to be okay, kid. Like talking to myself that way.
Yeah.
Um, the funniest part of that was at the hotel, I was by myself in my room and I had to have it zipped up. So Siobhan Huggins, the research specialist from Lipidem
Mm-hmm.
Project, was in Potsdam. She did not go to the gala, but she came down and said, will you please take a picture of me? I got to capture this. And I was so glad she did because she had to zip. I needed help zipping it back up, right? The back.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was with her, I wasn't focusing on anyone else. And when I went back to my room that night, there was a bar in the hotel full of non-lipedema conference attendees. And there I went again. What are they looking at me? What are they thinking? Are they staring at my legs? I don't understand. I was feeling so good, but now I'm back again. I want to go back in this bubble. And in
Mm-hmm.
that moment, I said, I love you. You're going to be okay. And I just kept talking to myself. You can do this. Because I didn't want to get heckled. I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
get heckled. I didn't want to get ogled. I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to stay in that happy place. And I think
Right.
I chose to love myself in that and not give my love away and let them tell me what if I'm worthy of love or not. I am
Mm-hmm.
worthy exactly as I am, and this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And
I'm
I
going to
think that the
change.
more that we show up that way, it takes a little bit of practice, those little baby steps, and then just showing up and continually doing it. I
Yeah,
think it gets easier and easier.
it definitely does. And especially when I'm brave enough to show a picture. Well, let's talk about brave. The first time I showed my pictures at Lipedema Simplified events, oh my, you can't take it back. It's out on the internet now. There it is, right? And now I'm like, you know what? Yeah. Most of the time we see people's legs or arms, our faces are blocked off,
Mhm,
they're muted for privacy for the surgeons or whatever, but there are
mhm.
people in these bodies. And
Right,
I do not want anyone to feel like they're only a body part.
right,
You're a human being and you are
right, right.
amazing
A
and you are
whole
navigating
human being. Yeah,
complex stuff and you
yeah.
are loved. And that's why I
Yes.
want to say loved.
So, using your word, what one sentence or a little bit more could you use as an encouragement for the community that's watching or watching the replay? Using the word loved, how could you use that in an encouragement for them?
Well, I would say, I love you. I love you. I see you. Here, okay, this is when it comes, right? Borrow my love if you don't have it for yourself that day.
Mm-hmm.
Tamara and I know Tamara's with me on this, but you are loved, valued, and treasured. And if you can't do it for yourself that day, borrow it from us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of
I
the
love
things
that.
about loved is that you're born worthy of love, and your body size does not determine your value.
Mm-hmm.
And you are navigating a complex thing in a world that doesn't understand. And so, the best thing we can do for ourselves is love each other and love ourselves in whatever way we can.
Mm-hmm.
And there are days, when my surgery got postponed, I was not very loving to myself. I blamed myself. I was very upset. And then I had to take my own words back and go, no, you know what? It's happening for you, not to you. Let's be
Mm-hmm.
safe. And that's a loving act. Let's be safe. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say, I see you. I love you just as you are. And you're always welcome here.
Yes,
You know,
that's the truth. That's so welcoming. It's really overwhelming.
it is overwhelming, Tamara.
Yeah, in
It
a
is.
good way. In a
Yeah.
good way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you so much for sharing, Lisa. So much appreciate you and sharing your heart and being vulnerable with us tonight.
Oh, you're welcome.
And before we go, um, I just want to tell you, Lisa, that you truly are loved. I'm going to get emotional again.
Me
You
too.
truly are valued and you truly are treasured. And I'm so grateful to call you my lippy sister and my friend. So I just want to totally let you know that. And to our community, if you haven't got it already, you got to know that you are loved, you are valued, and you are treasured. So thank you, thank
Tamara,
you.
I really
Um,
appreciate you. I really appreciate you doing this. I appreciate your statement and I
oh,
appreciate this community. And I love seeing everybody here. This community and what you're creating with this loved, valued, and treasured, these are words we haven't heard. We don't really feel or allow ourselves to receive.
mm-hmm,
It's always like never good enough, too big, too much space, right?
mm-hmm,
What's
mm-hmm,
wrong with you? And you flipping it upside down and welcoming everyone to loved, valued, and treasured.
mm-hmm.
The butterfly effect of that is immense. And I am so grateful to call you a sister and a friend. And I'm
Oh,
honored to be on your show today.
oh, thank you. You're gonna make me cry again, so we gotta stop this. And it's okay. I was told growing up that it wasn't good to cry, and I'm very sensitive, and I just embrace it now
Yeah.
because it's who I am and it's how I was created, and it's a good thing. So
Yeah.
embracing all of it.
Can I
Um,
give you a real quick tip about crying, if that's okay?
yeah.
So I learned this. So we do a lot of somatic work in RLD group with our client to prevent burnout. And one of the things I learned was tears complete the stress cycle. And so when you allow yourself the tears, you're actually allowing yourself to not keep the stress in our bodies. And
Mhm,
we, with lipedema, we don't need any more stress in our bodies.
mhm.
So I would just invite you, Tamara, to go, oh, look at me completing the stress cycle,
There
right?
you go.
It's just
I
part of
love.
it. And I do it all. I cry at Hallmark. I mean, I will cry at
Well,
a,
I do too. I
listen,
wasn't allowed to watch certain commercials.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm with you. And
So
that
my
gets
brain was
ingrained.
off.
Yeah, and it gets ingrained in us that there's something wrong with us, but actually you're a deeply feeling person in a really hard world to be in.
Yeah.
And so the tears come, right?
Yeah.
And you're completing the stress cycle. So,
Oh,
yay
I'm gonna
you.
write that down. Um, Thank you for sharing that. The stress cycle. I love that. Okay, so before we go, I do want to share about an event that we have coming up with Lipedema Simplified. It is called Break Free from Limiting Beliefs and Step into Self Empowerment at the Love Yourself and Love Your Body workshop on December 8th. So it's coming up right around the corner. I think it's like Sunday. And there is a link that will be in chat that you can register. You can click on there and just peruse it and see if it's something you might be interested in joining. And again, Lisa, thank you so much for joining. I wish we had like hours where we could just hang out and talk, but hopefully sometime we can meet in person and do that. That would be lovely.
Oh, I
But
would
in
love
the
that too.
meantime, I'll see you next time when I see you.
Yeah, yeah. And thank you everyone for being here. And I hope to see you all at the December 8th event. The speakers are amazing and talk about love. Like, look at that pull through.
It's
I
a
picked
five
love.
hour. I think it's a 5 hour event, if I
Yeah, it's
remember right.
definitely designed to help us all get
Yeah.
through that together.
So
So I
you
know the
can click
link's in
on
the
that
chat.
link and get more information. So
Yeah. Thank you,
thank you,
Tamara.
Joe. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I love you.
Love you.